I'll take this nice awkward silence to start the meeting.
Thank you.
7:04, I'd like to call the November 13th, 2025 Budget Committee meeting to order. You can all rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, start you, Charlotte.
Charlotte Fife, Jill Eldridge, Karen Quinn,
Lincoln Lavoy.
Carol Martin, Donna Danis.
Owen Friend Gray.
Susan Levinson.
Jim Stevens. Jeffrey Morrison. Robert Kelly.
Excellent, and I'll open up to public comment, but since I'm seeing 4 department heads, I don't think we got a lot of public comment tonight, so we'll get right to it. Fawn, Police Department.
Sure. Oh, you want the best first?
Always.
Yeah.
Why didn't you make Mike do it?
You want me to sit right, oh, let me sit right next to you, Ellen, why not?
Cozy right
I've
in there.
got so I don't, I
Cozy right in.
did eat onions for lunch, so.
And you also carry a TMI.
I do, I have a ruler, I'm so sorry, it's,
Way
they're
scarier than the
familiar
gun.
with that, they're familiar.
Son of a.
She probably doesn't have to write up a report after using the ruler.
Sure. Less paperwork, which
Less
is
paperwork.
Ah,
So
jeez.
page 6 on your.
6. Thank you, Ellen.
No, I think somebody is, might be available. Am I having a rush? We had a call. Yeah, it's a cruiser. Is that your guy?
Yeah.
What's he doing? Oh, okay, gotcha. That makes sense. So there's illegal dumping going, no, just kidding. Hi. Okay, would you like me to talk about the department or just go right into the budget?
Go right into it, I think.
Okay, sounds good. So basically, a lot of my lines are level funded, as you can see. There's a couple of increases like in the salary line. If you're looking at that line, just going over, I budgeted in, for 2026, basically like a cost of living raise. We used to do merit compensations, but I think just putting it into my budget and my salary line and at least giving my employees a small COLA raise across the board, that's what I intend to do if the budget gets approved. So you'll see an increase with that. And then just going down the next, overtime, PD salary part-time, that's all the same. Nothing's changed with that. It's level funded. The next thing you'll see an increase is the prosecution. The same thing, my prosecutor asked for an increase for 2026. She prosecutes for like 6 other towns. She did an increase across the board to those towns as well. She's a very, very good prosecutor. I'm willing to pay that price. It's hard to find somebody that can prosecute and knows the courts, has a good rapport with the judges, yada, yada, yada. So that is that. And then the next items, postage, dues and conferences, publications, training, testing, uniforms, cleaning, software licenses, all the way down. There's no, I can talk about what those lines specifically do, but there's no budget increases. They're all level funded. I am aware that we have a tax cap. They're not level funded because I don't need any more money. They're level funded because I'm gonna just try to do what I can with the money that we have. Does that make sense? But you would see, I just wanna make it clear too, you would see some increases in some of those lines. What would you increase? Like my overtime line, if you can see it, like, see where it is, like I overspent it, right? And that's like not for nothing, but there's 8 of us, including me, and people have trainings, vacation, you're gonna accrue overtime. You're gonna get overtime if there's a bad crash, if there's a call, you can think of 20 reasons why a first responder, right, would have overtime. Somebody gets injured, people have to pick up the shifts. And that's with me working patrol as well, like as your police chief, filling in and I will say like a lot of police chiefs actually don't do that, but I'm happy to do it. I'm still young, right? And it just keeps me with the game. But yeah, that's me going out there and covering when I can. And so I would like increase that line, but I can't, right? Because like I'm over budget. right? I'm over budget in my equipment line. Do you see that? That's for different reasons. I will say that we had some cruiser incidents. Are you guys aware of?
Yeah.
Okay, right, so, you know, there are things that, just happen, right, in the cost of doing business.
Is all of the overage on that from cruisers or?
It is, yeah, it's from the equipment for the cruiser. One caught on fire, and then one was crashed.
The one that catch fire was that from the upfit or anything, or was it vehicle?
So it was from the lithium ion battery inside the MDT, the laptop in the cruiser. So, you know, we got obviously like insurance paid for, you know, it depreciated because the car was 2 years old. So like to get a new cruiser, because the whole cruiser, well, that was a different one. We're talking about that was all fixed, yeah. So the one with the fire, most of that was covered by insurance and that company, Patrol PC, that the laptop belonged to. So they gave us a new laptop, everything.
So some of that overage is actually insurance reimbursed? Or is the overage in addition to the insurance?
So I think a lot of this overage is actually the crash cruiser.
Is it?
Yeah, because again, that cruiser was 2 years old, so it depreciated in value. So to replace it, the cruiser was just more money. And obviously we didn't budget for it because you don't budget for crashing. You know, because there's no more money anyway to do that, so sometimes you do have reserve accounts for that, so.
Thank you.
No problem.
The prosecutor services, is that an as-needed usage, or is she on like a stipend or a salary? type?
Retainer.
So, that's, no, like, I don't know how to explain that. I mean, it's not salary, like, she doesn't come into our PD and work.
Yep.
But she is available 24/7, 365. She has to go to all the court appearances. She has to prosecute all of our cases.
Is she
all
paid
of-
hourly or is she paid as flat?
That's a stipend, yeah, so it's not an hourly rate.
It's
Does that make
just a
sense?
flat rate.
Is it a monthly?
A monthly
Okay.
reimbursement.
That's kind of what I was
disbursement.
asking.
Sorry, yeah.
It looks like you're maybe only about 2/3 through that,
Correct, yes, that's why, yes, thank you.
and so
It's-
it's
yes.
just another month or two needs to hit before.
Correct, yeah, she just sends an invoice every month for the payment,
Gotcha,
but yeah, she's,
got it.
yeah.
And then, have you been down part-time officer the whole year or?
No, so just, well, a lot of the year, so our part-time officer went full-time, so we had a part-time spot that was full, and then she went full-time, and then I'm trying to think of how much of the year. My brain's mush. But that's not, so she, like, some of that money's gone, cause she worked a little bit for a couple months as part-time, and then rolled into full-time.
June, wasn't
It was June, yeah.
That she rolled for.
Yes, correct, she did. She went full-time in June, so that's half the,
So
almost
there's
half the year.
one part-time position?
Correct, yep, one part-time.
And you're trying to fill that now, or is it?
Mm-hmm.
So I know Karen just asked this, but where do you feel you're compromising?
So I would say that because we run such expensive equipment and we have a lot of technology within the PD, it's not that so much that you're compromising, but if something happens, like say something breaks, it's mission critical with us, right? So we can't just go without a laptop for the cruiser. I mean, now because of the software system that we use with Rockingham County, like everything we do through NCIC and spots, like when you run somebody's name or do a criminal background check, we have to use a software put in through Rockingham County Dispatch, and they require us to have certain capabilities to do that. When we work with the court system, everything has to be digital. Does that make sense? So hopefully none of you have been pulled over recently, but when you like literally get a ticket now, it's an e-ticket. So everything is electronic. So like I said, I would like everybody to understand, like I think that's anywhere. It can't be just like the police department, right? That you all have different jobs and you're saying that everything now is like electronic. So, but our stuff is just really expensive, you know? So I try to plan, so I don't know, equipment, equipment, gear, everything that we carry. I mean, if you look at your modern day police officer, the gear that we have off, like the belt that I'm wearing, just this belt is like $150, right? Because everything went up too. Did I answer your question? Donna?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
yeah.
don't know if I did. I kind of went.
So I mean, some of it, like we talked at CIP
Yeah.
about the fund, the tech fund, right? And we talked about like drones coming out of that. So is that, when you talk about equipment, is that stuff that you see coming out of the tech fund or stuff that you would
Yeah,
get
so
built
with the
into
drone,
the-
I wanna get, I
Yeah,
wanna
that,
take.
I know, but the
Yeah.
other stuff that you're kind of talking about now.
So I think my thought when I did the tech fund would be like, yeah, I mean, I would try not to touch the operating budget, like if a taser went bad and I had to get a taser within that system or whatever the case may be, or a laptop or whatever. Because everything costs so much money. I wouldn't have enough money in my budget if something went down to pay for that item if I didn't have the tech fund,
Yeah.
right? Like I needed another, like Motorola radio inside a cruiser. They're like $6,500. I needed to have one of those for the other cruiser because it got damaged in that cruiser. And that's why that line is so much over too, like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? My equipment line is like $10,000 over.
Yeah.
Because our equipment, literally everything is like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000,
Yeah.
you know?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, the only reason I'm
Yeah.
asking is because you're coming in at 3.3. So I just wanna make sure that you're not being over conservative in your asks.
No, I mean, I think I would just say, like, I just wanna explain that, yes, there would be, like, we obviously try to do everything bare bones. I have to tell you guys, at the PD, like, we're not trying to waste paper, we're not trying to waste ink, like, we will literally run our printers and they look all, you know, like, I hate to say this, right? Unless we have to give that paper to the court, which we don't, cause it's electronic. Like citizens, even when they come in, they might get something that looks like whatever, cause we're not gonna spend the money to make the ink, you know, ink is expensive, does that make sense? So, and nowadays, we're inundated, right, with 91A requests, do you guys understand that? Like, does that make sense? So the town literally, and I can say that for the PD too, and probably Ellen can is we get inundated. This is like very strange, like, I've been almost 20 years in law enforcement, and I've never seen anything like that. And I definitely think, like, it is unique to Nottingham with what's going on. Like, I don't wanna be salacious or talk like dramatically.
It's not unique, I'll tell you, from other municipalities.
Well,
We've
maybe
seen a
not.
tremendous
Well,
spike.
Well, no, I mean, we did get 91As, but not at this level. Like, we're gonna get a 91A, but this is everything.
Is it, you know, like doubled from last year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah. And so, like, when I have to replace the ink in those printers, right, like, it's like 400, I'm like, what the? And, you know, you try to, like, we get it cheaper somewhere and you get, like, I mean, commodities are up, stuff is up. But, no, I mean, I think it's good. I
just had one question. The vests,
yes.
they're not expired?
No, we're good. So we got a grant. So I did get cause if some of you were on the budget, committee last year and you guys were really concerned with that, I got a vest grant. So everybody has an updated, non-expired vest and we got a really good grant for it, so. Exciting. And I try to do that as much as I can. A lot of my stuff is grant fund, it's on a grant, right? Everything that I can get a grant for. My MDTs, my body worn cameras, my vests are a grant. There's just I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of things. Anything I can, I'll get a grant for. We don't get a lot of, and again, I'm not afraid to say this, some grant funding we're just not eligible for because we're either too small of a police department or the town actually is considered like we have too much, like there's too much money in the town, like it's not a poor town, right? So.
We appreciate you looking for.
No, I have to do the right thing. I don't want my taxes to go.
Right.
You know, I'm not afraid to say that either. I obviously live in town, so I'm very well aware of like being able to sustain a household, right? And it's hard, but you gotta pay. I mean, you still, you know, right? You gotta pay for something, so it's hard. It's very hard.
Could you just explain what's in the service contracts line versus?
Yeah, and
Or something
sure,
else?
yeah, like service, you're probably thinking of like the service contracts or like software licensing, yeah, and so there's so much, Jim, like I hate to say this, like service contracts is like Back Bay, it's the IT company that we use for all of our IT stuff, and then service contracts is, you know, we have a digital speed sign, I have a service contract for that, just different, I mean, different things. I could bring in all the invoices, but we have a lot of software licensing just to keep up to date with all of the equipment that we have. Yeah, no problem. Those are good questions.
Did you ask about warrant articles that are planned or anything that?
Yeah, feel free to.
Do you know which warrant?
This is our one chance
correct.
to
Yeah,
grill
yeah, yeah,
Fawn, so whatever you got.
Yeah, so the tech fund, I would like to ask for $10,000 to fund it. I would like to ask for more, but I can't, cause I'm aware of a cap, but if you think about it realistically, if I'm trying to outfit my big purchase equipment items with that, like my CIP stuff, I really can't do it because it would be depleted soon, but yes, I'm trying to get
Exactly.
10,000 for the tech fund. And then the only other one is just a rewording of, to like get our, special duty detail, how do you explain it?
Police special duty detail. There's a special I can't even talk now, thanks, Fawn.
Sorry.
Pages. We have a special fund set up. It was established in
Oh, God.
a long time ago.
1998?
Yeah, it was established, but we actually didn't have money allocated toward it. John Scruton, when he was the interim TA, he found it, came across it. We made sure that there was the appropriate $40,000 in there, but the issue that we found is that it requires legislative body approval. So we would have to go to the voters every year just to expend from it. So we're hoping to get that warrant article reworded, so when the police chief determines that there's a need or an expenditure related to something special duty, we can actually expend from it without having to get the voter approval. Maybe give the Board of Selectmen the agents to expend from it.
A lot of police departments, that's what they use their special duty leftover pay for. They obviously use it for equipment or anything that comes up, and then it can, like, you know, make their budgets go down a little bit if they
Think
have
about
that.
it, yeah, think about it like the ambulance, so the revenues come in from the ambulance and we use those revenues to cover the expenses for the operation, so we'd be doing the same. It's the excess revenue that we get from the special details.
So when we did CIP fund, we talked about two things. We talked about the drones hopefully coming out of the
Yep.
tech fund.
Tech fund, correct.
But we should also talk about the desire for the station.
Right,
Right?
yeah.
Because there would be warrant
Correct,
article
that-
related to that as well.
Yeah, so we, obviously, you know, we've been working a lot you know, with just, I mean, it's come up, this isn't a new topic, you needing to get a new police department. I don't know if, any of you haven't heard of the topic. But there's many reasons. Space is number one, location is key, that we've really, you know, really grown out of that police department. It doesn't fit the needs of the department anymore. And so, you know, again, as the chief, it's my responsibility to tell the townspeople, you know, to have a plan in place, and we can't just say, oh, we don't need it because we don't have any money. I mean, just because we don't have any money doesn't mean we still need it, right? This is the things that we need. And in order to do that, it has to be a process. And I've taught, and you know, thank goodness I get to sit down with the CIP and really work through that process and what it looks like and monies that it would need. So we do the first step of the process, we need some funding, right? To do some engineering studies and to get the ball rolling on it. I would love to have that in a warrant article, because I don't think you stop asking, you can't stop putting things in that you need. What is the future, right? You can't just say, oh, we can't have it, so we can't. Does that make sense? I don't know, so.
So do you know how much for?
It's 40,000?
It was 40, yeah.
40, yeah, 40,000.
So that's just kind
How,
of,
can is
Yeah.
that still a relevant quote? Because that 40,000 number has been
It was an
bouncing around
estimate
a
to
long
be, yeah,
time.
it was an estimate a long time ago. So we've just
So
carried
I mean,
it
it
forward
could be
because there has to be
65
some
for
type
all
of
we
a
know.
plug figure. Because we don't know what, like,
Right, we don't know exactly.
we don't know if it's researching
Mhm.
something here, another location, an expansion of the fire station. So like, we need a scope to be able to determine the cost for the exploratory and what they're exploring.
But when was that number? When did we get it? Do we have
It's
an
been on the
idea?
CIP plan for 5
Yeah, 5
years.
years. Yeah, so 2020, I think, or 2021.
So the
Pretty much double that number.
well, the 40 was, when we talked about it, it was for basically like a feasibility
Right,
study. And then the actual engineering
right. That's
plans
true.
would come the following
Right.
year.
But I'm saying that engineering costs have pretty much doubled since.
Yeah, but that's not this
2020.
year.
I know.
That's next year.
Yep.
We would, I mean, we plugged in 250 for next year. So the feasibility study might be still
Right.
close to that.
I mean, again, it's like anything else, we just keep kicking a can down a road. You know, we have to decide, obviously, the townspeople does have to decide what they think is necessary, right? But I'm not, as the chief, as a department head, I'm not gonna say that we need this. It's not viable. I mean, it's in the master plan and whatever, they redid, like, this is insane, saying like, oh, we've outgrown the building, we're not, I mean, so I'm not like a new innovative chief, like, oh, I would love to have those fresh ideas, but I don't, it's been in there forever, and when we did move into that location, I've been told by everybody that we shouldn't even have moved in there. Does that make sense? So it's like, it wasn't suitable then, and then obviously my plan would be, this would be like permanent till like, we would never see a new building, we'd all be dead, not to, you know what I'm trying to say? Let our grandchildren or whoever take care of that, and I'm not being honest, right? Like, if you do it, you have to do it right, and it has to be the best location at the, you know, it shouldn't be half-butted, does that make sense? You know, just rush into something, and that's why it has to be done strategically, the way it's set up. A lot of towns in New Hampshire have done this. Raise your hand if you know of a place that has a new police department. It's happening, right? We're one of the only ones that are left in their town hall. Does that make sense? You get that a lot up north, like in desolate, whatever areas, but we're actually like a nice, you know, like close to the seacoast, up and coming town that wants everybody to live here, but we've outgrown it, so. I don't know.
Yep.
Come and tour it.
So would that warrant be for, like, is there a scope defined for this feasibility study, or?
We're not there yet.
Right.
We proposed one 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah. We proposed one that failed, so that'll be
Right,
something
and
that the
that's-
select board will be working on. We're just
Right.
really in the initial stages of talking about the formation of the warrant articles, so.
The facilities committee has also been looking at that. They toured the station, so, yeah, they would likely provide some guidance on
They
that
would,
as
yeah, I
well.
mean, that, like I said, that just everybody combined really has good information and
Yep.
lots of knowledge about it,
I
so.
think the town facilities committee would like to do some presentations
yeah.
sooner
think
rather
that's
than
huge,
later,
yeah.
rather than packaging it all into
Right.
one big presentation, but to do it
Yeah.
soon
Mhm.
while it's useful, not
Right.
just toured.
Yeah, because you have to educate and inform and really, you know, show what's going on.
One more question, please. Cruiser,
Yes.
SUV or pickup, pros, cons?
You know what, you know, obviously with the pickup truck, just like anything, right? It's not as quick to turn around, right? Does that make sense? But the pickup truck is more versatile in my opinion, honestly, like as a 20-year police officer, I can do more with that thing. I can put barricades in it, cones, I mean, really in a small town too, like we're first on scene to like anything, right? Car accident, fire, power lines down, we're out on the road. So these things come in handy, right? Having that big bed, and they're pursuit rated, they carry prisoners in the back. I mean, it's a all equipped police cruiser, correct? And it's just very versatile. It's like not even much more money. It was like $1,000 more, you know, it's not like a money thing either. But yeah, some of my officers are like, oh, it's hard to turn around. I mean, you have to account for it, right? So you can't just like, you're doing like a 9-point turn on this small town, right? I'm being honest, but it's great. In a rural town like Nottingham with a lot of dirt roads, a lot of different terrain, the state park, it comes in wicked handy. When we have to do a search warrant, when we execute search warrants or we seize property from people, like during a domestic and we seize firearms, I'm not lying, that bed of the pickup truck comes super in handy. Super, like we need the space. But, you know, yes.
Oh, that was.
Good question.
It was, well, I
Like
was
it.
just thinking about repurposing it when you're done with it.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
absolutely. You
sit
guys,
there or-
yeah, have at it, you know?
Put a cab on it then to lock?
I mean, I think you could, we put the tonneau cover on obviously and make it safe, but you know, the town could do whatever they want. They could put a plow truck, they could put a plow on it and plow and,
Well, that's the thing that
yeah,
the highway department would, you just destroy 150.
yeah,
You'd
oh,
have to
yeah,
get
that
a
makes sense.
250.
Yeah, that makes
is
sense.
Minimum.
I don't know anything about that. And you definitely don't wanna put a plow truck on my cruiser. We'd crash those in. Anyway, but that was a good question. No, because I know, whoa, I hate to say this, right, sometimes things are controversial when you change your police cruiser, but I get it. They're, you know, first of all, there's only so many companies that make a police cruiser now. You know, nobody makes Crown Vics anymore, nobody makes a Ford Tour, so you have the SUV. There's like, obviously, we could go for like other wicked, more expensive SUVs, like the Expeditions and the Suburbans. I won't do that, it's not needed, but yeah, the trucks are good. So we roll, right now, we have 2 pickup trucks and 3 SUVs.
Okay.
So, and my goal for next year, that would be an SUV.
This would be nice.
Yeah, that's an SUV, correct. Yep. Cause we'd be swapping one out for another, an SUV for an SUV.
Any other questions for Fawn?
Want to say, I think you've done a really good job with this, given the fact that there's so little flexibility that it's scary with the tax cap so low. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you. I do have the EMD budget too. Did you guys wanna, it's not much, I
Yes,
mean, it's on the
actually, I
back,
do.
well, it's on the back of my sheet, but I know where it is for you guys.
Page 8.
Lines we gotta go over here, Fawn.
Listen, I don't know, man. She actually cut all I looked at it, I go, where'd all the other lines go? She's like, they weren't anything.
I hid them.
We had him at 0 for a long
I don't,
time.
yeah,
They're
it's
still
all
at,
good. I
it's
get it.
11 through 16 that are hiding at 0.
Sure.
They can all disappear.
So obviously, hopefully, you guys all know that I am also your emergency management director in this town. I am excited because we're moving forward. Actually, just to really quick catch you guys up with some stuff. Our emergency operation plan is from 2016, so it's out of date by a lot of years. They only like them to be good for 5 years. So I filled out an application for a grant. So we're gonna get some in-kind, like we're gonna get grant funding to start our emergency operation plan in 2026. We've already reached out to a consulting company, they're gonna work with us, and we're gonna update the plan. And it's huge to get the plan updated. Why? Because you get some money,
Get more
you get some free money and get some grants, right? And get some stuff that we need. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you, Ellen, for helping with all that, because that was a nightmare. But yeah, I found out today that we got approved and we should be good to go. They're gonna send us all the information. And
It's all
I,
in-kind donation, we don't have to
Correct.
contribute, it's going to be based on like the staff and community input through the update.
so I'm excited. And so then, just if you're looking at it, obviously you have the EM salary, and then the only other change, is the EM equipment. And that went up because, I found out this year, I guess the fire department was, they had always purchased all of the AEDs for all of the town and the town departments. The chief found that out over there, and it makes sense. He's like, why am I paying for all of this? So we talked about it in a department we have department meetings, every month or whatever. And so we decided that actually the best place for something like that would be in this budget, the emergency and management budget. So that's why you see that, because I actually need to buy a new AED for a police cruiser. Because the one that was crashed, the AED was in it and it got compromised, so that's why you see that. Does that make sense? So that,
Just one.
I'm gonna try to get a grant, honestly, so I'm working on that too, so hopefully I can just get it for free. But they're like $2,000, I don't know, yeah, they're expensive.
And then you
Last
have to
one we
replace
bought
the
was
pads.
2,100. We just bought it.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, 21, that makes sense.
Do they expire for like other places they are in the town too?
They
You
might.
just have to replace the pads.
Is it the pads? Matt could talk more about that,
Yeah.
'Cause they've
eventually-
serviced ours
Eventually,
for
they're not
some-
serviceable,
right?
so they work until they don't work. Like, the more you test them,
Mm-hmm.
the chances are of them not working the next time you need it is getting greater.
Huh.
So they say, replace them. But we own them at the state park, the library, the rec center, the police department.
And I get it, he was like, why do we own them?
I would test it. We put one out of stock and we stock them and it was badass stock.
Yeah.
Didn't even turn on.
No, yeah, that's not good. Never want that to happen when you need it, right?
No.
That's a bad day. And no, obviously, like, Matt knows, we need, our cruiser, like, again, 9 times out of 10, because we're on patrol, we will get there before fire EMS and try to do life-saving, technique, so the AEDs are important, so that's why you see an increase.
Well, the question was more of, are there other ones that are sleepers somewhere sitting in the building walls and stuff like that that need to be replaced? And
Well, the fire department does.
So
check
we're on
yeah.
a replacement plan, we
Right.
replace them as we need to
Yeah.
already. I'm just trying to get out of like the
Mhm.
school. I'm trying to get the school, that'll be the next step.
Right, like,
Care of their
we'll pay for them out of this, but like, like his department will still come around and make sure everything's okay, he's still gonna service her.
And do you have an AED in each of the police?
So no, we do not, we have two, but whoever's on duty takes one in their cruiser. And in Nottingham, you're lucky if you have two officers on duty, that's a great day, isn't it? Right, so, yeah, but that's a good question, Charlotte. Maybe with the grant though, I can get more and just put them in all the car, you know what I mean?
And I just have a quick question to ask too, is this emergency operation plan similar to the hazard mitigation plan that was just updated in
Yeah, so the hazard
2024
mitigation-
from 2016
Yeah, so
too,
they're
right?
two
Yeah.
very separate plans. Your hazard mitigation plan is going to talk about natural disasters, if we have flooding, earthquakes, weather events, that type of thing that could affect the entire community, even regionally, where your local emergency operations plan, you're talking about like how do you, when a disaster takes place, when there's a terrorist
Right.
situation or
When the
hostile
power plant
thing.
leaks
Yeah,
power,
and it affects this community, where does
mass
everybody
casualty
go?
event, a plane crash.
Shelter in place, is there shelter available? How do we get to homes that you might not be able to access due to a
Flooding.
disaster?
Right.
And will this emergency operation plan also take public input or?
Yes.
Correct, yes.
Great.
Yep.
When the damn.
I would imagine this would cover more things, like if there needs to be a heating center or a cooling center
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something
so
like
that's
that.
huge,
Okay,
that's why we
great.
need to talk about it, cause we don't. have any of that, so.
Thanks.
Or a drone would be helpful too.
Any other questions on emergency management?
No.
Thank you, Fawn.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
I, good luck.
We don't need luck, it's whoever's coming up next.
No, I mean like overall.
Fawn,
But
Fawn, thank you for being like vigilant and,
I try,
yeah.
it's like I pride myself on it. Try. Whoever's up next.
Mr. Curry,
That's
fire and rescue.
Fire and Rescue, page 7. Good evening.
Start at the top? Okay. Would like to raise the salary up so I can hire 2 more, but we were discussing the other day if it's gonna be a warrant article or not, and I don't know what the.
This is the initial proposal, so you have to
So,
figure out.
if we're gonna leave it in the budget or try to pass it as a warrant article, to have 8 instead of 6.
So obviously that will be a huge impact on not only this budget, but I had actually calculated into the benefits portion of it. I think I mentioned that last week.
With the 8 is in the benefits portion.
Correct. Yep, so as far as the additional health insurance, the federal withholding, not the federal withholding, but the FICA, the Medicare, retirement.
So if you took those 2 positions out of here, back out, then are you planning any salary increase for the full-time?
The only department that's figured for an increase within their operating budget is the police department. The merit compensation pool would cover all other departments.
Thank you.
If you pulled that out to warrant article, would you then also back it out of the benefits line? Okay.
Full-time overtime would stay the same, because hopefully we wouldn't need it if we had 8. Right now, we're staffed with 6 full-time to cover 24/7. The 6 full-time cover 24/6. Vacation, sick, all that. I mean, that chews up the overtime. Part-time salary, you'll see an increase in that, but it is really just a movement of the stipend line. So the stipend line was 40,000, we're gonna run it to 0 and add the 40 to part-time salary and pay the on-call members as employees bi-weekly or, normal paychecks instead of once a year. Service contract zeroed out because I don't know what it was a placeholder for. Stipend, like I said, is zeroed out. The chief's salary is up, and that is from
That was a select board move,
select board move last year.
beginning of this year. Again, as we've been talking about it for years, the former chief and even Matt for the time was doing it for a nominal fee of $11,440 per year. As we talk about the future, depending on how long Matt stays on in the position, or even for the succession planning, I think the expectation is extremely low for somebody to do full-time or full-time management of a full department on a very limited stipend position. So the select board made that move this year, so that's reflective of the current pay.
What are the hours for that? That's not a full-time stipend.
For the chief position,
Whenever my phone rings,
it's an
So it's
appointed
more of an
position.
on-call.
on call 24/7, yeah.
So how is the department being managed if you're not, if you're only there for on-call?
That's part of the, that's part of the problem. I think we need management in-house, right? So with staffing, eventually I'd like to get it to 3, have a day officer, somebody there during the day at least. Maybe a 12-hour shift during the day. They don't have to be there necessarily for the 24, and kind of spread, 3 guys on during the day, 2 guys on at night to try to give some of that. But yeah, there's no management in the station during the day unless I have a day officer on. And right now I have 1. So 2 days a week, there's an officer in the building.
Does that hurt retention?
I believe so. Yep.
And have we thought about, instead of having the 2 part-time, instead having a warrant article for a full-time chief?
We've tried that before too.
We have.
Yeah, that's for two more full-time.
But that doesn't,
Well, yes.
the 2 full-time that you've added here doesn't touch the management portion, correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, with promotions through the firehouse, as people gain that, lieutenants and captains and stuff, they can end up with some of those responsibilities as an officer during the day and deal with a lot of that administrative stuff. But yeah, I mean, right now there's nobody in there during the day to do administrative anything. They gotta chase me down, call me, email me.
I know how hard that is.
That's gotta
Can be.
very difficult.
Yep.
Ellen, how long ago did we try, I know we've talked about it,
Mhm.
but how long ago was that a warrant article to make that up?
I think it was in 24.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the discussion, I didn't think it was a warrant article.
No, it was definitely 24 because I started in March of 23, so it was the first year when, of course, we were handed a default budget. Most of the warrant articles failed.
Okay, well, yeah. That was our default budget year, right?
Yeah, it is hard for me to support the 2 full-time positions without more admin time. Matt, do you think how realistic do you think it is to even find that number of full-time firefighters? And
I
keep
think
them
it's
here?
definitely possible to do. Yeah, I mean, we hired a guy yesterday. We interviewed again. Monday, I interviewed a guy for a full-time position. There's still people out there applying,
Okay.
So you are hopeful, okay.
yeah. I think part of the turnaway to the position is that they're only working with 1 other person for a 24-hour shift. It's not a crew of 5. You're not sitting around a dinner table at night. Like it's you and 1 person, and it's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility on those 2 people.
Yeah.
Keep rolling.
Yes.
Mileage the same. We didn't spend it out this year. People that needed to go to class, either they took their own vehicle because it was closer to their house, or they took the utility truck, and we take care of the fuel on that. Postage, the same, slightly over. Breathing apparatus, the same. That
Is
covers,
that just for maintenance or
that's
replacement?
maintenance. Yeah, it's a service contract, yearly flow tests, and if they gotta replace, whatever. Dues, they went up slightly. They didn't go up the $4,000. We combined line 199, the hazmat line, that is also dues. That's for the Seacoast Start Team. So it went up, $500. That was just the price of doing business this year. Training the same. Protective gear, slight increase. The price has gone up significantly. I just got 2 sets of gear in the other day. It was like $7,400 for two complete sets. I wasn't even complete sets. I was jacket and pants, not gloves, helmet or boots, so.
Hey, Matt, just back up to training for a minute.
Yeah.
If you added 2 more people, does that still cover the training?
So they come to me certified.
Okay.
It's part of their hiring agreement. They have to be, fully EMS certified and a Fire 2 certification. So I don't have to send anybody to school to hold a position there.
Thanks.
So that's just for future education. I got guys that are advancing from a basic to an advanced, taking officers classes, taking instructor classes, things of that nature.
Okay, thanks.
Same question for the gear, if you added 2 people, is that included in
So they
that?
don't necessarily need new gear. Everybody doesn't need new gear. Gear is like on a rotation. We're getting to that point though right now where we're going for grants. Everything's gone PFAS free. They came up with a date that as of this date, you can't run PFAS anymore. They didn't even make the gear yet. So they cart before the horse type deal. I don't know what the numbers are gonna look like. Hopefully we can get a grant, but we got a lot of our gear years ago at one time frame. So a lot of our gear is expiring at the same time. It's not like 2 sets at a time. It's gonna be like 8.
Out of that 15, would that encompass outfitting the 2 new hires?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so the 15's like 2, really it's 2 full sets. Helmets, generally there's helmets, there's boots, all that stuff's recyclable. A lot of the time the gear is recyclable. It's just once it gets outdated, it gets kicked down the road. Software and licensing the same. That's always changing. We just changed our billing software, or we changed our reporting software, and we have to change our billing software this year. So one cancels out the other. They're still all the same price range. Vaccination testing, added $1,000 to that because the price of NFPA physicals went up. Every time I hire somebody full-time, they have to go for an NFPA physical. Part-times don't require it, but full-time do. Uniforms and cleaning, that's staying the same. A lot of that is the uniform allowances towards the full-time staff. Office supply is the same. We try to, like Fawn was saying with the ink, we try to hold off till the end of the year as long as we can before we gotta replenish those things, because ink cartridges are, $600 for one of our machines up there. Same thing, office equipment. We'd like to add money to the office equipment line because our computers need to be updated because of some reason. What's that, the operating system?
They age out and they're not able to be supported beyond Windows 10, and most of the softwares are requiring at least Windows 11 now.
Windows 10 is end of life already.
Yeah, that's where we're at. Supplies and equipment, the same. Again, we try to wait, till the end of the year to buy the wants in case there's a need beforehand. Gas and diesel, I don't know. I don't know why that went up 1,000, to be honest.
There's a question mark in the comments too.
Yeah.
So the 3100's live, right, as of this month. Live numbers on fuel, everything's diesel through a card at the pump.
Does that change at all with 2 New hires?
Nope. Nope, that's just trucks, truck and ambulance. Ambulance fuel actually comes out of a different line, so that's just fire trucks.
Yep.
So do you feel like you could stay at 5,000?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got 6,000 out.
might have left that so you guys could, chop me down.
Appreciate you giving
Left
us
you,
something.
left you feel good.
There we go,
Natured about it.
$1,000.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
gotcha.
Just 1,000.
Vehicle maintenance the same. As they get older, they need more maintenance. I got an extra ambulance now. We're running into that, so extra set of tires, extra oil change every year. They're still all in pretty good shape. Fire rescue equipment, the same. Hydrant line zeroed out. Radio maintenance, keep that the same. We're trying to fund a base unit for the station, and that would require this year's and next year's line to cover that. We don't have any radio maintenance this year because we got a grant for 20-something new portable radios, so nothing needed to be maintained. We got rid of the old, in with the new. But as far as replacing the in the station base unit. Telephone, the same, that covers the iPads, the cell phones in the ambulance.
Your landline and your internet.
Okay.
And your, whatever you need, jetpacks or whatever the ambulance, right?
Yeah, Wi-Fi and all that. Internet, miscellaneous, nothing. Hazmat, like I said before, the hazmat line zeroed out. That 3,000 got put on the dues up top, which is the Seacoast Fire Chief's dues. That's all part of the mutual aid compact. Forest fire, up 500. We need to replace some hose. And again, price of everything's going up. We can't do what we need to do if we don't have the money. And that is that budget complete. I don't have an ambulance, all right.
The 24% increase is tied to the two new hires and where that ripples through.
It's 3.5 without it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah, it just,
Yeah, not a lot went up, more moved.
Yeah.
Moved around.
Matt, are you confident in the case that you can make to the town for two new hires? Whether it's warrant article or operating.
I guess so, yeah, I mean, if the town wants 24/7 coverage, you gotta give me the people to provide 24/7 coverage. I can't do it with 6 people, so it's, I mean, to me, it's a pretty simple argument.
Yeah.
But,
So was the prior warrant article
24/6,
was 24/6?
And what are we now?
24/6.
We're 24/6, so.
We are covered, I have guys 24/7. But the budget covers 24/6 with full-time.
is that what the double overtime is essentially?
Overtime, per diem, part-time, yep. Yep,
Oh yeah, part-time's over too.
yep.
Any other questions for Matt?
How much the AED?
Warrant articles.
You mentioned an AED.
I didn't mention AEDs.
Or just before in the
Just
conversation?
before the conversation, I just wondered what the unit price would be for that, that's why I go back.
Was that?
Oh, the school deal? So the schools doesn't need to be replaced yet.
Okay, oh, okay, good.
No, it's just we need to get on a schedule with the school or let the school know that they own it. And
How much to replace those roughly?
they're like $2,000-ish, but it's the maintenance, it's the pads expire annually,
The ones that the fire department does take care of, it sounds like town hall and
Town hall, rec department, Tuckaway State Park, and the elementary school.
where do those live in? Which one? was
It's
that?
an ambulance line, it's not in any of this, comes out of the ambulance billing.
Okay.
So ambulance funds.
So we should be budgeting for maintenance annually, and the one that we have right now would need to be replaced roughly.
I couldn't tell you, I'd have to look at it, or I can get you that information. I'll get somebody to get that to you.
The plan would be that you would, fire department would continue kind of overseeing the process though, and then just let the departments know when something
We
needs to be
could do
replaced.
something like that, just so it stays on the same schedule, cause like we'll send them out, monthly, and they'll drive around town and physically touch every AED, and look at it, turn it on, make sure everything works. But then we get told by the AED company, like, you don't really wanna turn that thing on every time, cause it's only got so many turn-ons in it, and you don't want it done to turn on. Well,
How else are you gonna know it's gonna work? Yeah.
But that's where we're getting to with, they're getting to the age now where do you really wanna push that button, or do you wanna wait until you have to push that button?
I'm more just thinking you guys are the experts in knowing whether to push a button and turn it on and not trying to spread that out amongst all the departments and then have the departments
True.
lose track of it.
Yes, yeah, we could definitely keep that system in place.
When
as
it needs
far
to be
as-
replaced, yeah, okay, at school, you need to buy your AED, but,
Right, even like, pads are $100 and something, just for a package of pads. Some of them have 2 sets, they get pediatric pads and adult pads, they all expire, so.
I'm curious, Matt, how do we come to provide an AED for the Tuckahoe State Park?
Same reason we probably provide fire.
Inherited it, I don't
police.
know.
It is our town.
Yep. Public place, I don't know. Don't know.
Cause the state won't do it.
It's there.
They do make money, they do take.
Seems like
money,
they should.
right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so there's never been talk about reimbursing or.
nope.
Send them a bill, see what happens.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, they reimburse for coverage in the summer, right? Well, that's police, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll do like special, special.
Yeah. But they should be buying their own. There's a lot they should be doing.
You can write that letter. If you can do it, I'm all for it.
I nominate Karen to be in charge of
stop
this.
Any other questions for Matt? Warrant articles, you said, right?
Articles,
Do you have anything?
Well, yeah, the only thing we talked about under CIP, Matt, was the SCBA compressors for 2026.
Yep,
But that would be coming out of the capital reserve fund.
correct.
So that was the only thing we had.
But I would like to move the capital reserve back up at least a little bit, because it got, I don't know where it's at right now,
Yeah, we
it's very
reduced.
low. I wanna say it's $20,000 in it. I believe it was 100 when it started.
Yeah, so you need to refresh.
A capital reserve, in my opinion, getting
Yeah, that's the
$20,000 thrown in it
vehicle
is
fund.
never gonna be effective.
That's for the
So
vehicle.
Matt, one of the things that we're doing is going through all of the funds and what the recent contributions have been and trying to show how that's helping
Doesn't
our.
work,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So we're trying to do
Yeah,
that
it's no
math.
different than just getting a loan at that point of the game.
Right. So we're trying to make that to show why we need to keep up with the
Okay. But
contributions.
that's all we're looking.
Yeah, I just wanna say, we appreciate how much, like you and Fawn, and I know rec department is doing it too, as far as going after grants.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way we can get the new shiny things that keep these guys coming to work, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what is that? I can't read those numbers.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. So the Fire Vehicle Rescue Fund has a balance right now of 587,026. That was as of the close of third quarter this year.
What's a apparatus cost now, $1 million?
Yeah,
850 to $1 million, yeah.
we plugged $1 million into the
Yeah,
CIP
right.
just as a,
So
Yeah.
at $20,000 a year, we're not gonna hit that benchmark in
Never.
29, I think is,
Nope, especially because that's for more now, right? That's for the SCBA's, everything comes on that, so.
yeah, I mean,
We're gonna pull money out to buy the compressor.
we'll share this with the budget committee next year, next.
You guys get it later.
Next week, but it's kind of like, we gotta really look at like bumping it up to that 100 a year to kind of,
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's gotta get back up there,
correct.
so.
did pull up that, the warrant article, so it was warrant article number 6 in 2024, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $60,000 for the purpose of increasing the fire chief stipend for the remainder of '24, with estimated yearly stipend in '25 to be $71,440. We used, we figured 35 hours would be a base minimum of hours for it to be a full-time benefited position, but not necessarily the full 40. And we just put in a plug figure of about $35 an hour, thinking that by the time you get somebody that's qualified, that's probably the bare minimum of what you're gonna pay or incentivize it. So unfortunately, that did fail. I don't know if it's going to be something that the select board is going to try to pursue yet. We're, like I said, we're in the initial stages of warrant article discussion, so I might have more information for next week
Well,
after Monday.
Select board recommended, but it wasn't select board represented.
Correct.
I looked to just see what surrounding towns pay. Deerfield's at 85,000. Average in New Hampshire is 104, but that includes Manchester and, you know, the big town. But Deerfield was the only one I could find that had it available. I looked Candia, Fremont, and others. I couldn't find it. But anyway.
Thanks for looking at it.
Excellent. Anything else for Matt? All good. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Matt.
Mr. Rollins, I think you're next on our list. Oh, you get two. I split you highway and recycling separate.
Page
You
9. Nine, is that what I heard?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah. What would you like to highlight?
Pretty much staying right where we were,
Looks like it's
not asking for anything.
level funded to a penny.
It is.
Why aren't you asking for anything?
That might be a better question.
What is missing here? What would you?
The- Right now, we're not doing too bad. Possibly some money for equipment, or repairs of equipment, that's the only thing I'm concerned about is, but we've been able to find it other places, and doing a lot of repairs ourselves,
Yeah, you guys are doing a lot. It's really appreciated.
So here,
so,
the police department has a truck you can put a plow on.
right.
Fawn promised to take care of that.
So the equipment maintenance is overspent this year. Was there something in particular, or is that just normal?
A lot of unexpected breakdowns, I mean, I'm starting with a lot of equipment that, was fixed, or maybe better word would be jerry-rigged. And we're trying to get it a little more reliable. And we're slowly getting there.
You also had a full engine replacement that hit that.
There was a whole engine in one of the trucks. You know, and now we have exhaust issues, emissions, I don't even wanna talk about emissions. You know,
How are we doing for salt? I see we overspent. Do we have enough to?
The magnesium chloride's in that
yeah,
line.
so
Oh, it
we,
is.
so
Oh,
the
that's
mag was
okay.
in there.
Okay.
I did actually have some
Actually, I
salt
didn't know
delivered
that's on.
today, which that number will be right back to poof.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna move that, I think the magnesium
13.
chloride was 13,000 and change, so we're gonna line item that up to the sand, gravel, stone kind of aggregate
Yeah.
line and keep the salt just salt.
Great, thanks.
What's the magnesium chloride usage? Is that?
So that's dust control,
Oh,
for the summertime, and, I mean, it keeps the gravel in place, keeps the roads tight.
Yeah.
Less grading, so it's saving in fuel, wear and tear, man hours, and gravel, so it probably goes in the gravel line.
You said that was about 13?
Yeah.
Without salt, so.
And
That
and
brings it
that
right about
13, it
255.
almost gets us 2 years' worth of treatment. So we shouldn't have to purchase any next year. And if we do, it'd be a small amount. If we did, it would be, unfortunately, it comes by the trailer load. So it would be enough
It's all
to
or
get us,
nothing.
instead of 1 more year, to get us 2 more years.
Hey, Steve, so it looks like year to date, your expenses are 766, 767. Compared to the 867, is there stuff that hasn't come in yet? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we still have snow.
Oh, yeah, there's that. All right.
We still
No,
have,
let's
I mean,
not have that.
we're just coming into my busy season.
I forgot.
The uniforms and cleaning was almost double your budget. Did you need more for that, or?
We're,
We terminated the
Yeah.
contract that we had with Cintas, so they were doing the weekly supply of t-shirts and pants, and then we also do a boot allowance to the employees. Number one, the employees weren't happy with the uniforms that they were supplying, and like, they weren't fully utilizing the cleaning service, so we decided that it's probably best to shift back to what
we
Steve's
ended up just doing sweatshirts
sweatshirts and t-shirts
and giving the guys a little money for pants and boots.
And laundry detergent.
And let them do their own laundry and buy their own detergent and,
They're happy with that.
yeah. The uniforms only had 2 guys that would wear them. They were iron-on patches on a t-shirt,
That's pretty bad.
you know,
Yeah.
not the most comfortable thing.
And
The telephone line also almost double. Is that, do we need to increase that?
That's the phone and internet, so I do think that that's probably fine. Again, I think I had reported when we were talking about the government buildings. We're working with Comcast to consolidate all of the government buildings throughout the town into one plan, so we're all receiving like the higher upgraded speeds, and then everybody's on a different plan, paying a different premium through Comcast, because they're all individual accounts. So I got a hold of a government representative, and through that consolidation process, we should be starting to see reductions.
Oh, good.
Do you see fuel prices coming down much more? Who knows? I know.
We're
Look into your crystal ball.
Can't help you
Crystal
there.
ball.
So his department primarily uses the fuel cubes over at the Smoke Street pit, so minimal gas, because we use it for the utility
Yeah,
truck.
there's only one truck, compactors and small engines like that.
So between the gas
They
and
use
diesel, we're
gas.
just paying over the rack price.
So you wanna ask your question?
Well, I don't remember what's on the CIP for.
Yeah,
the
so
vehicle.
it's the, well, for 2026, the only thing we had on the CIP, the big things were culvert repair and then asphalt road maintenance and reconstruction. So what we talked about in CIP was for the culvert replacement was 800, which would be a potentially combination of warrant article and bond, and then asphalt road, maintenance and reconstruction, 600, again, combination of potential warrant article and operating budget. So we talked about that at CIP. I don't know that we've talked about that here before.
So none of that is reflected in this budget, that's what you would have to put it all as for.
Yep.
Wasn't it 300,000 before in the budget, 300,000 warrant article for
Correct.
roads?
And it's
And that's
been
out of the
reduced.
budget now. Is the truck that had the accident, is that part of the highway equipment line?
Not on here, no.
No, we were able to get
That was
was fully,
Insurance money.
yeah, we received
We had-
$45,000 in insurance proceeds, so we were able to purchase
We're actually
it.
$2,000 ahead on that.
we're able to use those funds and find a used one that fit the department, and then just keep it on the replacement schedule for 28, which was when it was earmarked for replacement.
So that was a new vehicle, right? This year.
New to us.
The
It's a new
original one.
used.
The original one was a new one, yeah.
It
No,
was
the original,
the original one was a 2018.
18. It was new in 18 to the town. We replaced it with a used, truck. With a new plow. So we did kind of go ahead.
So for purposes of this committee, do you wanna talk a little bit about your strategy for the culvert replacement?
Sure. I think it's Kelsey we're gonna try to do. Obviously it needs more engineering done before I can get actually hard numbers. But I guess that would be the first one to start with.
Yep.
There's 3 that actually need to be done.
So they're already working on the engineering. We're just waiting on the final design to come from them so he can determine what he needs to buy for material, the box culvert in particular, spec'd out.
Yeah, so I just thought it was important for this committee to understand that there's 3 that need to be done. And that, Steve's not trying to do them all in 1 year, that we're gonna see that for like
Yeah.
the next 3 years.
Kelsey, what's the other one?
Kelsey, Cooper, and Barry.
Barry.
Cooper Hill and Barry.
So with the more engineering that needs to be done, there's nothing in the budget currently on the engineering line?
No, it was.
No,
it
that was
was
actually paid for last year or year
2
before.
years ago.
2
It
years
was a
ago.
warrant article 2 years
Yeah.
ago, and it's just a matter of them.
Completing the engineering, okay, thank you.
What is going into your shim seal coat line?
For this coming year?
What you've spent and then what the intended spend is, if most of the road work is that, asphalt patch, potholes kind of stuff, or are you subcontracting out actually for?
No,
crack
that's,
seal,
no,
shim,
crack
right?
sealing we do ourselves.
Okay,
Patching potholes we do
that
ourselves.
stuff, okay.
It's just the overlay that's done, subbed out.
Yep.
And the milling.
But that would probably fall under the road line, right? The seal coat line is more the maintenance.
Yep.
Yeah, I get you. Thank you. Any other questions? Solid waste? Recycling center, whatever we wanna call it, transfer station.
Recycling center.
Still call it the dump if it makes you feel any better.
I try not to.
I know, I'm not supposed to. It was fun, we used to go back and burn stuff. I loved it when it was a dump.
How often did the police come to your house when you were a kid?
Oh, more than once. I knew Gunner real well. Excellent, so, that one does have an increase, so 2.4. You wanna walk us through the major changes there?
I'm fairly new to this department. So,
Sort of a general question,
I
I'm
am
assuming
here.
Ellen's gonna help you out.
yeah,
Generally, obviously, the salaries are reflective of wage increases that were given through annual reviews this year. And that is based on 4 part-time staff. We have 3 that work 3.5 days a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday when they're open, and then Monday is a reorganization day, getting the containers ready for swap in the off days. We do have our 4th person that works 1 day a week. He fills in either on Fridays or Saturdays as he can, just kind of helps with the flow, especially on the higher traffic days. Hauling costs, we are still in a contract with Waste Management, so every year those incrementally increase. We know that trucking expenses aren't going down, the cost of fuel, everything's unpredictable, there's surcharges, so you know, based on that contract and the average number of hauls that we're doing, there is a minimal increase there from 240,000 to 250,000. That honestly is probably low. We don't know what's going to happen with our plastic bales right now, so that might be additional trucking cost. But again, like trying to keep in mind that hopefully there's some other areas within the budget that may not be expended to kind of absorb those overages. Household hazardous waste collection, we did have one in Raymond this fall, so we're still waiting on the invoice for that. We have the estimate for how much it's gonna cost next year, and it's just based on the prior year's numbers. So once all that statistical data is plugged in, we'll have a better idea, but there is a plug figure in there for an increase.
Get a grant from DES for that?
Do we get a grant from DES from it? I think Raymond is the local repository for us, so I think they just pass whatever off to the communities just based on our usage. I think that they probably are able to get that because we're not the host.
Got it.
Outside of that, there were just some adjustments made on particular line items that either haven't been expended, but we still have to keep money in there. I mean, mileage would only be necessary if some of the staff had to go to Concord to do their training. They have to keep up with their training for their certification. So sometimes they can come over here and do it via webinar or remote learning. Other times they actually have to go to Concord and do in person. So we try to keep those items in there. Safety equipment is replacement as needed. Fortunately, we haven't had to expend anything. The dues and conferences is based on, again, part of that training process. Some of them, most of them are free. Some of them do have a cost associated with them if they want to go to the annual conference or like the tour that they did in the upcountry earlier. It just kind of helps them with networking. But they also have to pay, we have to pay $50 per staff member over there just to keep their certification in, so that's kind of built in there as well. And we did have some turnover this year, so I think we've had 6 people in 2025, including the current 4. Uniforms and cleaning, they were part of the uniform program as well that the highway department was utilizing, and we're going back to, now that it's reverted back to a public works department, so it's the highway department and the recycling center. We just did one design, so it's the public works department. You know, it's not just recycling versus the highway department, so they get the same uniform collection that the highway department does, and then we do a boots allowance for them as well. So there's their uniform that we were doing through the contracted service. There was only 1 employee that was utilizing that service, so it was obviously not fully expended to the extent that it could have been if we had everybody in a uniform service. Telephone and internet I did increase, but again, that's one of those ones that I expect to see a discount with Comcast, but what we are finding is Freeman Hall Road is just a bowl like this. Their internet service is just horrible. We replaced the modem. For whatever reason, we just can't get the bandwidth over there required to run the credit card machine. So I am potentially looking at changing that over to Fidium Fiber. So I did increase it a little bit because I don't know what the cost differencing is going to be there, but that might be the only facility that we might have to just outsource away from Comcast just because it's just not meeting our needs.
Can we get Fidium at all of our other facilities?
Possibly.
Might be worth asking the question, see if they can be Comcast.
I really, I'm kind of apprehensive about shaking that cage because there are areas like the library that gets free internet through Comcast. Not really sure the details behind it, but if I start rattling a cage too much, I don't want that to be a potential additional cost. Jen Phillips and I had that conversation today. And one of the larger changes that we did make was to reduce the supplies and equipment line. It was $7,000. Obviously, we've expended $9,000. This is to cover the facility permit stickers, which get you into the recycling center and access to the town beach. They're about $2,000 a year to purchase 6,000 stickers that we give out free to the residents. And then there's also a clear bag that the facility's been purchasing now for 3 years. That's, if you go into the recyclables room, you'll see that there's a clear bag for your number one, your clear, your mixed. They've been using those bags to bale the plastics in, just to keep everything contained so that the containers aren't leaking and just so that they're not blowing out the sides of the bales. And now we're at the point where the market is not good for plastics, but the vendors that purchase from us also don't want to see those bags because it's another piece of material that they then have to dispose of. It's not the same recyclable. So we have been essentially buying expensive clear bags to throw them out. And so now that we're making that change, bailing them without the bags, we should have a reduction in those costs. So even though we're over now, we shouldn't be moving forward. We should be able to save quite a bit.
So the hauling, you're already at 246.
It should
Prices are
probably,
increasing.
yeah, it should
250
probably
is
go
not gonna
up
cover
to,
you from next year.
it should realistically go up to 275.
Okay. Do we have a long-term deal with Waste Management on tipping fees and annual increases?
We are in year 2 of a 5-year contract.
Okay.
We're rolling into year 3.
But that should be a fixed cost, so at least we can work backwards from that based on tonnage, okay?
Can you explain the reduction in the testing line? Last year you were approved for 7, you've spent almost 6, but you reduced to
We were
4.
doing additional PFAS testing, and it even extended out to some area residents when there was a concern about PFAS in the landfills. The testing amount has reduced. Again, when we set this budget, it was based on year-to-date expenditures almost through the 3rd quarter, and there was some more invoicing that came through, so. Based on the projections, I had reduced it down to $4,000. I'm gonna have to look and see what the estimate is for next year. But so that's what I'm saying, like some of the testing that we've done in the past, the requirements have reduced, so the costs aren't quite as much, but I might have reduced it a little bit too much. I don't think, we're not gonna have any other invoices, so what we've expended so far is it for this year.
Any other questions or?
Is the plastics disposal, is that costing more than just throwing it away? Or just tipping, or is it just going to tip?
Yeah. So we're working on getting prices right now to see, but either way, we're recycling. We're supposed to be
Sure.
recycling. So that's, yeah,
We're in storage mode right now.
yeah, so I've got a storage trailer, we're gonna, cause right now it can't be outdoors, it's outdoors. We're gonna get it stored in a storage trailer and
Can't be
till,
outdoors, why?
excuse me?
It can't be outdoors, how come?
It's collecting water, they're breaking down for one thing. The bags are breaking down, we're starting to get trash actually blowing around the yard. So they need to be undercover. So we're gonna put them in a storage trailer until we can find a better way to
We're working with Waste Management right now to see
Try
if
to-
they have an option
still
Without-
recycle them, but,
without having them go into the landfill.
right.
So sorry,
Essentially.
so is the cost of recycling more than the cost of going to a landfill currently?
It depends on the plastics.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's only like, I think it's like 4 to 5 cents per, it was like 4 to 5 cents per ton for like the clear plastic, but then our hauling fees outweighed the actual revenue that we were gonna get for the recycling.
Sure. Yeah, I was
So
thinking
to-
like how long, like how many containers of plastics ready for recycling end up there before?
We have
Something
50, I think as of 2 weeks ago, we had 52 bales of plastic.
What's that,
we
one
hold
container,
ourselves?
2 containers?
That's probably a container and a
Whoa.
half.
We're looking into that as well.
Hauling it ourselves.
So we're looking into that as well. trying to make this work.
That would definitely, if we have to haul them, that would be the best approach because we're looking at probably $375 per truckload.
Okay.
And then disposal costs.
And what are we paying right now, like 110 to tip? A turnkey? 100, 110, something in that
I
range, or-
can't,
Yeah, I don't know.
I gotta look at the invoice, I haven't looked at one in a little while.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, but you're probably not far off.
Anything else on recycling center? All good? Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Saving the fun for the end. Rec department.
Page 11.
I'm here tonight because Courtney had a baby in September, so.
You didn't wanna make the new mom come out at
No,
8:30 at night to do
no.
this?
Don't worry, she's up.
Yeah.
It might have been a ploy friendly or have a baby, you
Yeah.
know?
Now you're
Yeah.
gonna say no to
Who
that.
can say no to a baby?
Yeah. So the budget, there was really only 3 things that Courtney changed. The first one being the salary line, which includes the 25% of the assistant salary coming from rec revolving to the general fund. The next one, so we split some lines up. We have in here 4 beach gate attendants to cover all hours of the beach being open. So the percentage that we're going up is quite large on our budget, but that's the main reason why. So that is $26,208 for 4 part-time people. And then we separated out, there's $680 under the new town beach line, just kind of separating it. That includes porta potties and water testing. Going down.
So wait, why is just talk about that recommendation there, your narrative.
Yes. So while presenting to the board, they wanted to keep the salary part separate from the town beach. So Courtney proposed it just kind of all together with the water testing and porta potties and 4 beach gate attendants.
So that recommendation text there has to come out of that line?
Say that again?
So we just didn't move the recommendation. So what we did was, it's all relative to the town beach, but the select board wanted to make sure that the salary for that beach gate attendant was in its own separate line in case it gets removed. In case they decide not to move forward with that position, or it has to be cut out, or what have you.
So
then-
hence that's in line 288.
Correct.
Yes.
But the recommendation, the narrative here.
Yes, so on the note for 288, it says, see the recommendation note under the rec town beach, just because it was part of the original document.
Can you change that?
Yeah.
Just for clarity.
Yeah, it's just the way that, so what happens is, it's the way the spreadsheet is figured, the department heads present a budget, a worksheet, and then I'm rolling it into this master sheet, so it's carrying the notes forward, so it's just, it's all references.
Yep.
Yep.
So what was the driver for, like, was there more incidents at the beach, or what was the driver to consider having 3 more people?
I think that to enforce things that we're trying to enforce at the beach, it's not really successful unless it's fully staffed. So last year we had someone there only 4 days a week.
For a few hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to fully monitor the beach, and because we have the lack of a lifeguard or other presence down there, and it's down a private access road to get to the town's beach, it was something that we had discussed at like our end of season recap that there should, for it to be effective, there should be a manned gate attendant maybe at the entry of the beach. So in order to have that, we're open from 9 to 7 days a week. You can't expect one person or even two people to fulfill those shifts 7 days a week. So realistically, you know, four rotating, covering absences, sickness, whatever it may be, over the 14-week period that the town beach is open. It's a proposal. We'll see where it goes.
Is the attendant at the actual beach or the parking lot as opposed to the end of the road?
It was at the entrance to the beach.
Yes, correct.
Because
Last year.
that's the town property portion of it.
Okay.
But this would be actually putting somebody at the gate, so it wouldn't give the opportunity for people that maybe shouldn't be there because either they're not a resident or don't have a facility pass to even come down the road and explore the option of potentially being there when they shouldn't be.
So this is attendant, not lifeguard.
Correct.
And were there incidents this year?
I don't have, Courtney has a statistic list. I think that there was some incidents. I don't know the extent to what. Yeah, Fawn could speak to some.
Come up here and talk to you guys.
Again.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anything, right? So it's a lot of things of like a real criminal aspect. Sometimes, yeah, because if they're trespassing and they go on the parts of the property that are owned by that owner that they don't want to be there. Do you guys understand that that's what's happening to the conundrum that we're in? Do they have all the backstory on it?
Yes.
Right, so yes, so there are times, yes, that PD gets called because these people that go to the beach are accessing parts of the property that doesn't belong to them and that clearly are marked no trespassing. That's one part. I think the other part is basically just general rules that govern any part, like when you go play at Marston or when you come to the town hall. I mean, every society and every municipality have rules. Does that make sense? So they're not necessarily a law. So we'll get called down there. It can be for anything. So, you know, obviously I don't want to put fear in anybody's mind. We're not dealing with, you know, major crime, right? Like if you're thinking of that, we're not dealing with felonies or anything like that, but we're dealing with a problem, right? Like a nuisance that's happening because now things have changed. In my opinion, they have, because now that there's people down there that are landowners that have built property down there, this is a place that was not managed properly, in my opinion, for years. Does that make sense? So like when I got sworn in 2008, nobody ever was like, you need to police the beach. I mean, correct, we did go down there, right, and make sure that those are town residents that are down. Does that mean you have to be a town resident to use the beach? Was that a huge priority? That's common sense. It wouldn't be a huge priority, right? But certainly if we're not tied up as a police department, we'll go down, check the parking lot, run some tags, make sure everything's on the up and up, right? Or if we get called down there, hey, there's somebody that looks like they're smoking drugs or doing what they're drinking, you know, that's when we get called down there. So yes, there are, Karen, like incidents that happen, and we do. We get called down there on a pretty regular basis. We've been providing those 91A requests to people that, you know, have requested them. I think the beach attendant did a very good job of keeping like analysis of like things that she dealt with.
That's what I was wondering,
Yeah.
if having the attendant made a difference.
Was informative? Yeah, for sure.
So
And
But there's
turning
eyes
people-
down there.
called less because we had an attendant. That's why I'm trying
who
to
knows? I
sort
don't
of.
think
I think that she can only deal with so much
Right.
too. So like she's been told, like she's not supposed to put herself in harm's way
Right.
either. So if it's still like someone not listening, then it's getting called fine. But it would be like if someone was policing 4 days a week instead of policing, you know, the beach is open 7 days a week.
Right.
So it's just not
It was very part-time.
as
I mean, the
effective.
point is the onus is on the town, right? It's a town beach. If you're gonna open that to the public, we incur some of that responsibility and liability. Does that make sense? So you would wanna do the responsible thing. So if we're saying that, yes, we do get called down there, that property owners do have issues because people don't follow the rules and sometimes they go rogue, that helps with like having eyes down there.
Yeah.
Whether the town wants to pay for that,
Yeah.
that's right? Because that is a different cost and that's never happened before.
Yeah, were you getting calls on like daily, weekly, monthly,
Yeah.
like
Daily,
daily?
correct.
And this is, I feel like this is something that Courtney has said since I've been here, like, she either wants to manage it right, or like, doing
But
it
I-
half
but I
is
have-
not.
I have to be clear and like very transparent and honest. We're not getting like calls from residents. We're getting calls from a particular resident that lives down there. Does that make sense?
Well,
Because that's their.
they're
pro-
the
that's
only one
their-
that can see it.
That's their
and
property,
It is their
right?
property,
Like that's the, right? Like, there's a big issue and again, that, you know, but yes, we do get called down there very consistently to deal with, in my opinion, like a headache. Like, it's just like, it's a problem,
So
right?
do you anticipate that having those attendants there could relieve some of that?
Yes, absolutely, right? So if you have a face on there, they're engaging with people, they're telling them like, hey, you know, you have to be a resident, blah, 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 blah. Just going through some of that stuff, yeah, it gets rid of tomfoolery really quick. It's the same things that they do like at the state park, right? The state park has a toll booth person that, you know, you have to drive down and you're talking to those people. At the beach, there are people that work down there, whether they do have lifeguards or not. There's tons of state park staff that are, like making people follow the rules. Does that make sense? Like, you can't jump off the bridge into the kayaks, like you can't have a fire at this time, like those are just rules. But like, again, if we have property that we're supposed to manage, we have to make sure the town has the onus, right? The BOS has to make sure that they are doing right by the townspeople if they're going to continue to allow that beach to be open to the town of Nottingham,
Nottingham Beach license plates.
right?
So,
Have a toll booth.
has this been considered as a warrant article?
We had to put it in there for discussion's sake. It could possibly, just like the fire department, 2 new positions, it could end up on a warrant article on its own.
Could it be funded through rec revolving fund?
We had actually discussed that. The issue with the rec revolving fund is it's supposed to be program-based, so the fees collected from the program to run a program, the recreation department doesn't run any programs at the town beach. It's a town property that's managed through the Parks and Recreation Department, just because
Because that's how it was set
because
up
they're Parks and
originally.
Recreation, because
it's
it
a
was the way it was
property,
set up
yeah.
initially.
But if, say, you did a sticker for $1 to be able to get through, then that would be part of the revolving fund, and you could then fund it that way, even though the dollar, you know, so you get $20, that wouldn't cover it, but you could pull if you needed more from that revolving fund. Is that true?
I guess that's one way to offset costs. It's really, I feel like sometimes rec revolving is hard to understand, but if we were doing one, maybe if we brought summer camp down there, that would make sense. But if we brought summer camp down there, then we would need to hire lifeguards. So like,
You're adding another cost too.
yeah, you're adding another
To fund it.
cost to it. So basically, like, if we had paddle boarding down there that was bringing in income, it would make sense for us to take that out of rec revolving. But since it's the general public, it makes sense to come out of the general fund.
How much is in rec revolving right now?
Well, I did the math for 2025, and hold on. I don't have the end balance, but for 2025, we took in $321,000. We spent out for costs $144,897, and then for salaries $126,714. So I don't have credit card fees, but out of those numbers, it looks like we made 49,000, which would be our rec van and our CIP, which is lovely, but
Well, your credit card fees, as I remember, pretty
yeah,
substantial.
I think Betsy's
In the
working on that.
thousands.
Yeah,
Like 14.
the last time was 14,000, yeah. So ethically, and what rec revolving's meant to do,
What was established for.
yeah, it would not
It wouldn't
make
cover
sense.
the town beach.
How much is in there though?
I don't, those numbers aren't updated. I have the end report from last year.
Can we get a copy of a report for the fund?
We asked
At some
last year
point in this
too.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might not be until the end of the year because it's whenever Betsy gets all the fees and everything reconciled into it. I mean, we're close, we're only a month away, but.
Yeah.
We can get it in
Cause I don't,
mid-December, one of our
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah.
You're talking about like a ballpark would be like, you've got 40,000 left for the year?
To spend. I don't know about salaries is the hardest part for us to figure out, but we have.
Because you still have aftercare that's active and.
Yeah, yeah, which is like a school year, so that's different. The thing about rec revolving is this, I feel as though the salaries need to match what the revolving fund was meant for. So again, we're not taking money in at the beach. It is not ethical to pay for them out of rec revolving. If we were to do, like Courtney has a list of future projects, we have grant backup money if we need it. We have a playground fund. We have summer camp that uses the playground. We no longer have general fund playground monies. That is empty. So that makes sense to pay for out of rec revolving. Does that make sense?
Kinda. For the recommendation that was like add a buck a sticker, then it would be.
We'd
I
have
wouldn't
to-
call that a program, which sounds like
Right,
semantics, but the RSA
it would
was
be
written
it
in a
would be
way.
an offsetting revenue.
Yeah.
I get that.
We're just
yeah.
looking for ways to fund it without increasing the budget by this much, because that's a
It's an
lot,
awful lot of money.
it's a lot to
We're
ask
up in
for.
the key card down there. I mean, it paid for itself 26,000 a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Key card.
Courtney did put in a beach gate 2 years ago. I think it was
Yeah.
7,000, yeah, and it was cut.
Right, it would pay for itself, a key card with the gate, no need telling people would have a key card.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That-
essentially it's
Somebody's
what
gotta-
people.
Somebody's gotta make a gate that, or a credit card machine that actually validates the address tied to the credit card, and you can't even use it unless it rings into the town. Somebody's gotta make that.
That doesn't solve the problem, though, of people infringing on the property owners.
Correct.
But that's no
Correct.
different
Yeah,
than
that's-
anyplace else in town, really.
But that
Well,
doesn't,
they
You
can't
don't
get
expect
past the
them to
initial
police
gate.
it down there though, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it sounds I think we're kind of conflating two different issues, right? Like, I think one thing that's being said is there's the property trespassing piece, which is really a separate legal issue that is now presenting a liability for the town with costs and resources associated with it. And then the separate issue that is maybe more represented in this budget is something akin to if we want to have open beach hours with certain rules, it's paying to enforce the rules. If we wanna have certain rules, we have to pay to enforce them. This is the cost. The other option is we
But I mean, like, if
we
you,
choose not to enforce rules, right? Like,
if you make things not free, you should have probably less shenanigans happening, right? Cause like,
Yes.
you know, if it's, hey, you swipe a card at the gate and the gate will open during the right hours and it's $1 to go down there and park, that it's a barrier to entry for somebody that just wants to go down there and screw around, right? And also, like, theoretically, you now have a record of who went down there too, because you know all the charges and you can get that info from the credit card machine. Like, it would solve a bunch of problems all at the same time, which might be a, you know, while it's an upfront cost, might actually make things easier in the long run.
how is that impacted, though, by the cost of implementing it, the cost of managing it? Right?
Right, the gate, like if we got a gate like
If you
that,
got like
yeah,
a
agreed.
key
Yeah,
card.
you'd have
Yeah.
to, yeah, well, I mean, my thought was do something that requires the least amount of like overhead from the town perspective. Like, don't do something where you've gotta give every single town member a key card that then they're gonna lose and you have to replace.
Yeah, right.
No,
Right,
just
like-
those people that wanna
Buy a new
use
one,
it,
replace
pay
it.
for
Yeah,
it.
Right.
They
Well,
lost it,
they-
it's on them.
Yeah, you could sell the cards, like, if, you know, you want a beach card, it's a $2 thing, you lose it, it's another $2, yeah, at least covers the cost of the card, you know, let alone some office overhead or something like that. Again, though, even doing that puts that barrier to entry where it's just gonna reduce the shenanigans of like, oh, I drove down there cause I could, and then I'm screwing around, I'm not actually using the beach. The people that wanna use the beach are gonna go do that.
interesting discussion, but probably more of a CIP or something
Yeah.
like that, cause it's more of a
Like
long term.
Selectmen, that's
Yeah, but I
more-
Or a
mean,
selectman meeting, cause
It's
it's more of a
also
policy.
how do we reduce that 26?
Yeah.
I understand, but I don't think that in this meeting we're coming up with
yeah,
how to reduce
Yeah.
that, not,
Just
we don't
floating
have
some
the authority
ideas, I
either.
don't see the harm in that.
I'm not saying any harm, I'm just trying to get us back on topic, that's all.
Okay, so I wanna go back to the rec revolving fund,
Yeah.
if we could. Cause the I mean, I've been doing this for a long time and the rec revolving fund always seems like this black box of, we
But it's
don't.
also not part of the operating budget, which is the focus.
okay, but this committee is always saying, why can't this come out of the rec revolving fund?
Correct.
So I think it's partly because people don't have enough of an understanding.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I think that's probably, Bridget and I were talking about that earlier, I think that's probably something that needs to be brought up to the selectmen, maybe Courtney and Bridget come forward with, hey, you know, this is what's in the rec revolving fund, touch on some of the items that they have earmarked for that, and then figure out what is in that fund that could be potentially used to offset some other areas maybe within the operating budget.
Okay. But there's always gonna be discussion about what salary comes out of the operating budget and what comes out of the rec revolving fund. And so I personally feel like this committee would benefit from knowing more about what goes in and out of the rec revolving fund and why, what the justification is for having all of the salaries there when they're supporting programs. So that,
Well, it's not all of the salaries, it's the administrative salaries. The pure program staff person does come out of rec
Yeah,
revolving.
Emma's
Yeah.
paid entirely.
So without your programs, without that fee collection, you don't have the programs, you don't have
Right,
the
you don't have
future
the
for the
staff.
programs. But let's say that there were essentially no rec revolving funds, no money to work towards those programs, you would probably lose your program coordinator, because what's the purpose of that position?
got
But
it, yeah.
you would still have Courtney as a rec director and Bridget as her assistant running the recreation department, the administrative end of it. So again, like if a portion of her salary and benefits is being paid out of the rec revolving that does not exist or could potentially no longer exist, how do we have Bridget exist?
But-
Or the person in her position?
But what they're administering is the programs. I mean, that's,
But it wasn't always like that.
I have another
So-
question, not to cut you off.
but
Has the rec revolving fund ever gone to
Can,
zero?
let's get through
Yeah, like,
Karen's first and then we'll get to yours.
so you have a revolving fund for programs and you're paying people to administer the programs. So that is why, I guess I don't understand why can't the rec revolving fund continue to be used for salaries?
So when I first got here, we had all of our events in general fund, right? Maybe some of you weren't here for that. So 2 years, I think, Courtney said, okay, default budget, we'll put all of those into rec revolving. So my responsibilities have changed from programs and rec revolving to doing some general fund stuff. So it is like, we do parks maintenance, we do anything that's in our general fund line, I help Courtney with. So it's ethical that I would come out of the general fund. Also, no other department has to
their
work
own
that
salary.
way. They don't have to make their own salary. And I know that it looks like a nice pot of money that we could use to offset costs, but it has to be used in the right way. If we were all funded out of the rec revolving fund, what's the difference than us opening up our own private place? You know what I mean?
I think we should have a sidebar conversation
money,
on
probably.
it, like
Yeah, that's true.
pull together the warrant article from when the rec revolving
I
fund
have
was
it.
established.
I do have it with me.
You do.
If you wanted me to read it. And I think it is hard to understand, but like, I think you have to know more about our department to understand what we do and what is rec revolving and what is not. So the move to we moved our senior luncheons into rec revolving, which I don't necessarily agree with because our moneymaker is aftercare. So that means that our aftercare parents are essentially paying for us to put on senior luncheon. Ethical, I'm not sure. Do you guys want me to read the warrant article or?
Won't hurt.
Okay. In 1994, when the rec department was established, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate such sums are necessary to pay for land and other recreation purposes as described in RSA 35B1 by depositing fees and charges for recreation park services and facilities into a recreation revolving fund pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 35B2. The money in the fund shall be allowed to accumulate from year to year and shall not be considered part of the town's general surplus. The town treasurer shall have custody of all monies in such fund and shall pay out the same only upon the order of the Recreation Department with approval of the Board of Selectmen. Such funds may be expended only for the purpose of NHRSA Chapter 35B, and no expenditure shall be made in such a way as to require expenditure of or create liability upon other town funds, which has not been appropriated for that purpose. The selectmen and the budget committee recommend this article.
And that, most of that language is direct from RSA 35B too.
So Jeff, what was your question?
My question was if the rec revolving fund had ever gone down to zero.
No, well, it's like a checking account. So money's always coming in and it's always coming out. So if it was year to year, so say like the 2025 number I just gave you guys, that could possibly come to zero or negative for the year of 2025. But this is built up since 1994. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I understand that it would take a while to deplete it. But if that happened, there'd be no summer camp, there'd be no aftercare, there would be no programs.
Well, you've also used the surpluses in recent years for capital improvements.
Oh, a lot this past year, yeah, we paid for paving, we paid for shade structures,
Rec revolving?
Very much
Yeah.
appreciated.
So how do you tie that to a program?
oh, shade structures, summer camp, 100%, murals, summer camp, 100%, pavement, all of our community events are on that.
Okay.
That's a good question.
And
So,
actually, in the rec van, like you had said, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a capital improvement plan project that is earmarked to be funded from rec revolving because that's how they get to
Mhm.
some of their summer camp.
And
So-
I mean, say tomorrow it burnt down.
Yeah.
It burnt down, you couldn't do childcare for a year or something here.
yikes, yeah,
I would like to see you get paid.
yeah, yeah.
So, so
Yeah.
I guess the question's still out there. How does the town in general or this board get a window into the revolving fund?
I don't,
To either an explanation of how it works or
yeah,
what items should be in there or not, because just from what you read in the warrant, it said lands and park, that it didn't say anything specifically about a program. I haven't read,
Yeah.
I'll have to go in and read
yeah.
whatever 30
If I can
says,
find
but-
anything more specific to Nottingham, I will let you know. Everything that I've said tonight, every training I've gone to, all of the education I've had matches that. So similar, Exeter, take Exeter for example. They, at one point, made the deal, we will have all of our programs come out of rec revolving, kind of like what we did, like all of our events. They have a huge beer and chili fest, I don't know if you know about it, but that brings in so much money, it can pay for their other programs, which is great, but they made the deal, all of our staff have to be in general fund.
Okay. So getting, getting something in either the charter or the revolving fund or something is where we'd see that clarity of where those things stack up.
Yeah, so we have, the rec has their own expense sheet that we take care of, we have everything, I can literally send you that, our expense sheet that I have access to, like tomorrow if you would like it.
Is that everything that goes in and out of the revolving fund?
Yep,
Okay.
except I don't have salaries, that's the only thing, and that's a huge part, and we have 30 staff members.
It
So-
used to be that I think the only salaries that came out of rec revolving were the part-time summer camp counts, like the full-time people or semi-full-time
Yeah.
people. No, didn't
Yeah.
used to come out of that at
They
all.
were seasonal.
Right.
So
So
like
like just
since-
the seasonal employees
Yeah.
that came out of rec revolving.
Courtney's grown this department, the town's growing, but Courtney's grown the department. When I first came in here 7 years ago, it was Courtney and then a part-time assistant. And now we have Courtney, me full-time, Emma full-time out of rec revolving, because our programs are growing too. Does that provide clarity? I know it's still a little question mark. I think you have to know what programs we do to understand what's going in and out.
It's helped me to think about, and maybe this is grant terminology, I'm a grant writer, so I don't know if it will help anyone else or not, but I think of it's direct versus indirect service is what it is. So in this theory, direct service jobs, so people working in aftercare, people working summer camp, that kind of thing. Direct service directly with the patrons who are receiving it, come out of rec revolving. Indirect service are the, no offense, Bridget, the paper pushers who
I do both.
who make the direct service happen.
Mhm.
So that is what helps me, the direct versus indirect service providers.
It's some of your overhead costs. You gotta spend 20 cents to make a dollar.
Yeah, and like, I think that it looks nice to offset a budget, but we are offsetting the budget by doing things behind the scenes, not during budget season, right? So like, 2 years ago, we bought an $18,000 playground equipment. Like, we didn't ask for that to be in the budget. We have irrigation on the list, we got, a lot of cool things that we would never be able to ask for in the budget, that we could get done that would make a difference in the community.
But you can provide that spreadsheet
Yeah.
to Ellen,
Which
Ellen,
also
you
means
can
they don't
email
have
it
to warrant
out to the group.
articles.
That would, I think that would be really helpful for people to see
Yeah.
what's coming and going from it.
Yeah, and all of our I think people are confused about the word program, right? Like, what is the program? Like, our events they used to not cost anything, they still don't, which is eventually gonna eat at the revolving fund slowly but surely, but
So here's my problem.
yes.
And this is like, I get why you're asking for more, I get the importance of the two biggest drivers. But we've got a highway department that's asking for 0% increase, we've got a fire department that says 3%. And people are gonna look at this and say the rec department is asking for a 32% increase when we've got a 4% tax cap.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Courtney's job to she presented a budget on what she thought the town needed, right? The beach is a hot topic, people love it, it needs to be managed correctly. If it's cut, it's cut.
Unfortunately, the
move on.
weight bears on
Yeah.
the department that is responsible for the town beach.
Right, so I think, yeah.
It's essentially, it's a town-wide issue, so it should probably be more appropriate in like, if we had a general grounds and facility maintenance budget, I mean,
Yeah.
could we plug it into the
Or a warrant
government
article,
buildings?
like if
fund?
people,
Or put as a
yeah.
warrant article and see
Well,
what
also,
the
I mean,
town
don't think
wants.
that highway isn't increasing its budget. They're not in the operating budget, but they will be in the warrant
But,
articles for
but
road maintenance.
it's what people
So
are gonna
it's
see.
a partial budget.
Yeah.
But
I get
that's
it, but it's what
No,
people-
yes,
it's
the optics I
perception.
think are important.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you, John.
But
And I think it's
there's
relative to the amount of our budget, like, our budget is not like highways.
But
I know
there's, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, go ahead.
The argument then to put that in a warrant article to see what the town
Wants.
thinks. And I'd also challenge you guys to come up with ways to use the beach and be able to take some funding out of the revolving fund, like offering swimming lessons, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I know, but you, for that time, maybe it's a part-time lifeguard that would come for the swimming. I'm
No,
not
that
a
makes
rec
sense.
person, I'm not gonna try to do,
We have done swimming lessons in the past and we've lost money, to be transparent about that, but I think then that adds who's gonna run those programs. You know what I mean? So that's like, what staff member's gonna take that on? Do we need another staff member? Do we hire another part-time staff member? You know what I mean?
So they
I
have a
get where you're coming
lifeguard
from.
and a staff member teaching them swimming.
We need two lifeguards.
That's what I thought
And
then
transportation.
came out of the
Yeah.
revolving fund, like people then are paying for that service.
They paid for the service, which covered the instructor, but not the lifeguard.
Yeah.
The lifeguard was always
Well,
an extra.
Anyway, I'm
Because the
I'm
lifeguards
just
are away.
challenging them to come up
The
with
challenge,
ways.
the only other thing to think about too is that as soon as you start thinking about like something like swimming lessons, you are gonna end up in like a price competition with places that are offering swimming lessons.
Okay, that was a bad
Like-
idea.
Like,
They used to
Yeah,
offer.
well,
they used to offer it, but you're immediately gonna go into a price competition for
No,
like.
because it's a convenience.
We got a lot of people talking, hold on, everybody. We've gotten off topic, we're losing ourselves here. I understand this is a very exciting topic for everybody, however.
Can I, on
let's
the
stick
relevant
with
to the
the-
budget, is there a reason there's two different equipment lines and are those?
No, I think those were actually supposed to be combined last year. To be honest, cause it's confusing.
293 and
And I think
298.
we're
And one
closer,
is
yeah.
budgeted.
I would
Equipment and then
If it's
equipment
okay with
slash
you.
supplies.
think Courtney would like them combined.
Yeah.
It's just,
And I think the total works out to be.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Is the mowing of Marston and the rec center in this rec park in line 292?
Yes, so it is, and I think Courtney's discussed this with Ellen before. We also, the rec is responsible in their budget for not just the fields. It's like the other piece of the property, which is like kind of like, oh, should that be in our budget or not? I'm not sure. So we have a new contract this year as well. So I think that's something that Courtney wants to look at in the future, like should it be in the rec budget that we're mowing the area out front? You know what I mean?
Here.
Here. Here, yeah. But yeah, Marston's a big part of it.
Which area is this?
So we like basically say our kids just, again, sorry, getting back, I'm trying to say it clearly. We, in our budget, are responsible for like all of the mowing, but I wouldn't exactly say that it's the rec's responsibility to mow the front of the building.
Right.
But that's in our budget.
The rest of the grass within this complex.
Yeah, that would be more like a grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're over this year, I think, because we mowed a little bit more and we had
because
a
we have a new
new
contract.
new contract.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't questioning the overage, just.
Oh, okay.
Just what is included there. So it's
What-
mowing here and mowing at Marston.
Yep, mowing here and mowing at Marston. Which mowing's always been a hot topic, but
Yeah.
it's important. I think people think about it as cosmetics, but it's not. Like, it's safety. Like, we had flag football on Tuesday and I went out there early to make sure that the grass was low and it wasn't frosty and it wasn't slippery because I don't want anyone tearing their ACL.
Can I just bring up I guess, a valid point from the RSA on the establishment of the revolving rec, thank you. One of the items in here, it's 2 under section 35B:2. It says such funds may be expended only for the purposes of this chapter, and no expenditure shall be made in such a way as to require the expenditure of or create a liability upon other town funds which have not been appropriated to that purpose. I don't know if that makes clear sense to you or not.
That would read to me like you can't hire 50% of a full-time person and create a 50% liability somewhere else.
That's the way that I read it as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Okay.
Again, we can definitely get some more information, pull together the worksheet for future discussion.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Any other questions about mowing? Used to be like-
Wait, what kind of a mower are you using? That was an easier one though.
It's,
Yeah.
it's so much money for mowing. That's, I think, the
Yeah.
eye opener is, you know.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
ridiculous.
I know, especially if it rains,
Everywhere,
man. The grass grows.
It's rainy
It looks
earlier.
beautiful over there though. Marston's like,
Those look pretty good.
looks legit. So going down, I think the only other thing that Courtney increased was our office supplies. I think she increased that by $800. We have, the community's growing, that means that we have more things to do, so. She also added an $800 addition in that line for a new computer because the card machine is only hooked up to my computer. So if there was a computer in front that we could access, all of us, easily, it would be much more easy to get to. It's a very particular card reader. Yeah, so really, assistant salary, beach attendance, office supplies is what she increased.
Might be slightly off topic, but just, this is the second time like we've heard credit card stuff come up for the town. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, like, is there an option of doing something Square or some,
The beauty of what we use
Similar
right
stuff.
now is we don't collect any of that information. It's all done through Civic Red, like, we don't.
PCI
We don't have to
compliance
do
and
the
all this
PCI
stuff?
compliance or anything. It's all handled. There's no question of compromise.
Right,
We
but
don't
I
collect the individual data.
would assume that like Square and some of the other like little, things used by like Etsy owners and stuff like that also deal with all of that, cause I know that like little crafter person is not understanding PCI compliance.
But does it feed into their software where the registrations are, because they'd have to like.
I think
Okay, that-
everyone who has something in town has separate, maybe like we have a third party that we have to go through, like, it's such a pain. So, like,
It's Innoware. It's the same software company that the town clerk uses for the registrations.
But does that feed into your registration system? Like how do you?
yep, it hooks right up to only my computer. Yeah. Which is fine, it's just,
Another reason you should get paid from the general fund.
yeah.
But I'm just trying to think, going along Lincoln's line, is there something or any savings we could potentially realize by trying to get all of these to be the same throughout the town?
They are.
But it sounds
They
like
are
they
through
are
the,
already.
yeah, so even the branch off for the recycling center,
That
which
one's
we know
still
that's
the same.
defunct, that's also through Innoware as
Okay.
well. So we're using that same processing.
And this was the first full year, I think we put the credit card fees back on the people paying in ours, so that'll make a difference.
That was up 14,000 or whatever we talked about, yeah,
Yeah, yikes.
that's a lot.
It is a lot of money.
Any other questions? Anything else to discuss while we have Bridget here?
I'll get you that sheet.
That would be great,
Yeah.
thank you very much, appreciate it. Okay, so that covers all of our presentations. Anything else, Ellen, that you wanna add before we move on to?
Other than, the select board has reviewed all of the initial presentations as you have, but they haven't met. We finished up with the highway department last week, so they didn't have a chance to fully look at everything, the bottom line, and start their initial recommendations. So that's on the agenda for Monday, and as soon as I have those initial recommendations, then I'll forward them to you, so you have a full review for next week. Because I believe that's your plan, right?
I think I'm not even here next week, I'm already forgetting what we're gonna be doing, I do believe you're right
It's a
though.
complete town budget review.
Budget draft, yeah. Yeah.
So I'll have all that off and circulated to you after, by the end of the day Tuesday.
So are you gonna be here next week for that?
So, I think I've told you, but I won't be here next week, so it'll be Donna potentially the week after Thanksgiving, it depends on how my recovery's going, but. But other than that, we'll move on to meeting minutes.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ellen.
November 6th, our last meeting minute. Did anybody have any comments, clarifications, modifications? Anything you wanted to change to the meeting minutes?
I had a couple things. So line 32, under library, they explained that some maintenance costs are covered by the town, such as systems. I don't remember what was meant by systems related to maintenance.
HVAC
Like
and
the
stuff.
big,
Okay,
I remember that one they talked about.
okay, I just got hung up
It
on
was
the
more
word.
like maintenance.
Systems is a funny word to use.
Yeah, that was the only
Yeah, we
reason I
could-
got hung up on
Did you
it.
get the memorandum?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it
what's
was
the
just in the
systems?
context of the
the
minutes.
minutes.
Again, thinking for clarity for people, but
Yeah.
it's fine if everybody's fine with it.
Well, I mean, we're fine because we remember, that doesn't mean that in 5 years when somebody else is reading this, they're gonna
Yeah.
remember.
Well,
Does
that's
somebody have a
right.
better
Yeah.
recommendation for that word? Or an expression there? Mechanical systems?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes.
Does adding the word mechanical make most of that
well, I
clarification?
don't- are they all mechanical though?
HVAC,
Is it HVAC in general?
You could just,
building systems, I mean, it's all sort of.
because it has such
It's
as,
pretty,
such as
Yeah.
implies that it's an example, so I think
Yeah.
such as mechanical systems works.
anything else?
Oh, go ahead. Line 66, planner, under planning and zoning. Most expenses are offset by applicant fees. Is that true that most of the expenses are offset? Or is it, like, I remember, like, postage fees and stuff are offset, but is everything offset?
A lot of it
I think
is,
a lot of it was.
Okay, that's fine then.
yeah.
Okay, down to line 90, legal. Ms. White explained that legal fees cannot be forecast. There's a $1 placeholder in the budget.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right, because right now there's like a
No,
30K.
it's actually just 30, we talked about, and I made a
Yeah.
joke about getting rid of the $1 placeholder.
Yeah, so we just need to.
Because that was the 30,001, so
I
I'm
think you said
guessing.
there's no longer
Yeah.
a $1 place.
I think they just,
I mean, I think you could delete that
I think we just
altogether.
deleted, I don't think it needs to be
Yeah.
there, I would, so period after forecast.
Yep,
Just eliminate the rest of the sentence.
yep. And then line 128 under CIP, Ms. Danis reported, I think it was probably you,
Line what?
line 128. It says,
I think I did the report.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That was all I had.
And
Martin.
when the original draft was sent out, it did not include the October 30 meeting minutes, but I think it was added. Is this the one that she sent us a draft? I'm pretty sure.
This one has the,
Yeah, the one that we have
meeting
now
minutes.
has it, but I think
Yes.
she had sent us a draft and it was missing.
That was all I had.
So I just wanna go back to 39. They didn't say, but they would, Ms. Stevens explained the Celine budget, but they would find needed funds in another line if one line was cut. I think what they said would, they would take it out of that maintenance line that they had increased. So remember they upped the maintenance by 6,000, so it's like 12,000, so that's where they said they would take it out of.
I thought it was materials.
yeah, they talked about taking it out of the books, essentially.
Yeah.
That's what they
They
had
would-
done.
Do you
Because
think
it's
it's
the only
really,
thing they got flowed in.
No idea.
do you think it's really important, that's an important thing to be that
Not
specific
now.
about?
No,
Cause it might change.
all right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's fine.
Anything else people noted in meeting minutes? If not, then I would entertain a motion to approve the November 6th, 2025 meeting minutes with adjustments to lines 32, 90, and 128 as discussed.
And so move?
Moved by Ms. Fife,
Second.
second by Mr. Stevens. All those in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna abstain. I wasn't
Okay.
there.
So 2 abstentions and I think we're a full house today for once. Yeah, 902. Excellent, thank you. Committee report, CIP. I feel like we've kind of done it
Yeah, it has not met.
as we've been going along, but
Donna drafted the narrative that will go into the report, so the CIP will have to meet to review that. But we haven't set a date.
No, we have not, but we plan on sharing CIP with this group next week. We have it on the 11:20 agenda.
school facilities,
I don't have anything to report. They did meet today and I was not able to make the meeting, the 4 PM meeting. I got held at work. I had a conversation with my boss that I need to be able to do those, so.
I was able to go though.
oh, excellent.
So, they're gonna meet again in December.
Yep.
And what they talked about today is just trying to determine whether they want maybe a more full-scale addition. And the work that it would require to get there, they're not there yet. It would take a lot more than, so that will not be happening. So what we've asked to have done is really get in there and look at an inventory of classrooms, present some options. Carts would not be the ideal. We have classes right now on the stage, and I don't think that that's something that we are really thinking is the best. So, and the thought is from administration in the building is that that would continue and maybe even increase next year. So that's something we'd like to see alternatives around. So what we'd like to do is a January survey to the community, to parents, to all the stakeholders, to see what people are thinking, what they know about it, what they're thinking about it, and try to get some information that way. We need to talk about enrollment. Rockingham County is increasing. So those are some areas right now. So right now, they're talking about the economy, the economic indicators, the labor market, getting some community surveys in place, and really getting a feel for what people are looking for and get an inventory as to what's really happening in that school and how it's gonna impact academics. Because we've kind of come full circle in a way, where we had academic issues, we spent over a decade correcting them, all hands on deck, we've been very successful, and here we go now with these issues. The administrators also felt that they would prefer to do things on carts and in off areas than to go from maybe 18 in a classroom to 20 or 21. So that's another discussion that does need to be had, because if you've got paraprofessionals and maybe that's something that could be doable. So those were the things that were thrown out. So we're looking for a survey and another meeting in December.
Good deal. Town Facilities Committee.
The Facilities Committee meets tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with Chief Curry, at the Fire Department. We're gonna be looking at the original plans of the fire department. There's some call for, I don't know how many are familiar with the inside, but there was a mezzanine area which 2 bedrooms were built into for the full-time firefighters, and that may need to be increased. And we know that there are a few things that are relatively minor. Septic pipes, I guess, were pulled out of the ground by hooligans, local hooligans, those need to be replaced. And the siding needs to be replaced. But we'll do a good look at everything and think about what needs to be done as we're growing and getting more firefighters.
The siding on the
Fire department.
needs to be replaced.
What, I believe there's a portion of it which has been off for a year.
That's a sheet metal building, right? So like one of the panels just isn't
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I haven't seen it myself at this point, so I'll know better. And then we'll reconvene next Wednesday to discuss all our findings, and then our hope is to start giving that information as soon as possible. We know we're not gonna hit all the buildings, but we'd like to at least be able to report on the police department and, give some oomph to the idea that we need to be looking at a feasibility plan for the police and see what the fire department needs for their growth in employees. So we're hoping to be able to present stuff in bits and pieces as soon as possible.
Excellent. Good news. Any new business from anybody? Next meeting, November 20th, next week, draft review of the town budget. As I mentioned, I won't be here for that one. And depending on how I'm doing, I'm getting neck surgery next Wednesday. So hopefully I'm back up and running by next Thursday, but that all is gonna depend on the doctor. When I get cleared, when I can start driving and everything again. So be nice to Donna while I'm gone. And with that, I think the Pats are up 14-7. So
why did you do that?
so you don't have to be worried. What are you?
I was
It's not even halftime.
gonna watch the recording.
You're still gonna watch the recording. Don't say that like you're not gonna. Probably. Excellent. Motion to adjourn at 9:16. Movement by Donna, second by Karen. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.